Battle Forge scenario, Hoist the Colors. In this scenario, hills are treated as scoreable zones by warrior models. In order to hold a hill, you must have at least 2 warrior models completely within the hill and no enemy models on the hill. You score 1 point for holding the central large hill zone, no points for holding your friendly small hill zone, but you score 3 victory points if you're able to control the enemy small zone. Scoring is checked at the start of each player's turn. Scoring modifiers are rolled for the table. In this game, mission modifier rolled was secure the perimeter. Beginning with the 3rd round, score 1 victory point at the end of each of your turns in which your opponent has no models on your side of the table. And achievement was rolled. In this game, Big Game Hunter gain 3 victory points when your leader destroys or removes from play an enemy cohort model with a melee attack.
The Orgoth took Sabbreth with 2 Jackals, one with Arknode, Mace, and Clawed Fist, the other with a Bloodthirster Head, Clawed Fist, and Pneumatic Spike. We have a Tyrant with Hunter, Quad Bolter, and Belcher. We have a unit of Assault Reavers with Battle Standard. We have a unit of Strike Reavers with Battle Standard. We have a unit of Holker Axers. We have a unit of Rourke Cavalry. And we have a unit of Skirmishers, Reaver Skirmishers, along with Eilish Garrity as my solo. Spell rack, we took Hex Blast, Redline, and Silence of Death. For the forces of Khador today, we have taken Baronova. She is escorted by her 3 Great Bears, 1 Great Bear with Battle Mace and Shield, with the Aggressor Head, another with Battle Mace, Aggressor Head, and Blasting Fist, and a final one with the Slammer Head, the Heavy Battle Cannon, and the Dozer. Additionally, we have taken 3 units of Winter Corps Infantry, each with a Battle Standard, 2 equipped with 2 Assault Cannons each, and 1 unit with 2 Grenade Launchers. For the rack, we have Avenging Force, Superiority, and Freezing Grip. Strap in, folks. We are doing a Battleforged battle report tonight. So, of course, we are playing the new scenario, Hoist the Colors. Very excited for this scenario as a whole. Using, as to the best of my approximation, the map that is pre-provided within the scenario. A couple of small tweaks. We made some impassable buildings or impassable pillars instead of one wall segment and then another wall segment towards the edges is actually a cloud. Mostly because I didn't have enough walls to meet the requirements of the match. So that's what we did. The 3 hills, 1 in the center, 1 on each of the opposing sides. You cannot score on your own hill. You can score on the central hill. You get 1 point for controlling that. You control that by having opponent having no models on it, and you having at least 2 warrior models on said hill. And then if you can get control of same type of control on the opposing person's hill, you get 3 victory points. So big lead there. So we'll jump into it. Run up my Reavers, and then running up the Ulkur Axers. Very excited to have the expansion finally in, and then on the far flank, I am zooming the brand new Rourke Harriers. Love that cavalry unit. Really strong with what it's able to do. Then I have my two jackals run up 11, run the good old strike reavers up, and then form a line uh, right up in front of the flag, who did the placing, and they're all in base to base for the shield wall. So then finishing up by doing some spell casting. Running him up, and then we'll do some spell casting here. Get Fog of War there, and then we'll get Red Line there. Or sorry, Red Line over on the Berserker. Or not Berserker, the Bloodlusted one. And then move up the War Witches. Get them ready for the following turn. And either security just sort of shuffled up. And then we walk over to get ready for the Khadorian side of the house. So, yeah, the Orgoth list here is just trying to take as much space as possible. I want to sort of threaten the hill, and then I also have a unit of skirmishers who are going to come in the next turn and use that lovely ambush to try to apply some pressure and steal some cheeky points on the opposing hill. So ambush in this scenario is very live, so I wanted to try to utilize it. On the Khadorian side, sort of the plan is to utilize the three Great Bears to break as much of the army on them as possible, and then use the 3 units of infantry to sort of do cleanup. So we'll start off here by moving our first unit up. This is a unit with 2 of the assault, or I'm sorry, this is the unit with the grenade launchers. Then moving up the unit with 2 assault cannons. And they're sort of hedging their bet, trying to stay out of a flank range, but allowing pressure to be put on the hill across the way, because we know if we know where the ambushes are going to go. They're just trying to maximize their ability to retaliate, as well as sort of hedge the threat of the cavalry. Moving up a unit of arcanists over to help support around the hill. Checking the range on the Cav and getting the Jack to tow the hill to try to prevent some scoring. So Trina's going to go. She's going to cast Superiority and Avenging Force on herself, and Superiority onto the Shield and Mace Jack. I'm sorry, onto the not the Shield and Mace Jack, the Dozer and heavy cannon Jack, because we're going to take some pot shots. So making sure we've got some targets. And rolling it out. Boost. Hit. And then push him back, or slam him back 3. Get the other one behind him. Kill it. And kill him. So very effective first volley. Then get to shimmy up a few inches from the slam head. And now in range to do some dozer shots. And this guy is just doing work today. So another one bites the dust. And another one is about to be gone here. Nope, he missed. So yeah, that jack proves to be very good. This match mainly put the superiority on him in this instance for the additional speed to increase threat range. Superiority is a really interesting spell, at least it has been the last few matches that we've played. Starting to understand it a bit more. It's a little different to Redline, which is one of my favorite spells ever. I'm sorry, the unit in the back is the one with the grenades. The one up front is assault cannons. But again, all of Khador, all of New Khador's list really want Avenging Force. So it's what we sort of build around and play around, at least right now, while I don't have the expansion for Khador. So then hopping back over to the Orgoth side of the table, we go ahead and upkeep Fog and upkeep Redline. And we sort of go into the tank a bit as we try to figure out the best way to move everything. We bring our outflanking skirmishers off to the far left side of the screen, top left, or top left on the opposing side by the hill, so that they can go ahead and apply some pressure just by being there, and try to limit the movement of the large jack. We need to get the Harriers in position. I go ahead and take a look at my cards, trying to best determine which one's going to be useful this particular turn. So the command cards have been really interesting to utilize as well. They're one of my favorite parts of this edition. And doing some measurement, running the Arcano Jack up, and then starting to figure out what we're gonna do to take down this absolute menace of a Gunjack for the Khadorians. Again, this is a little bit very different list than I normally run with Sabbreth. Tried to optimize for the scenario itself, as well as be a little themey with the two jackals and the only the one tyrant. Normally I'm very tyrant heavy with her. So we move forward. The remaining Reavers, strike Reavers, get the flag within 5. They're going to do a CRA. We're going to hit. Of course we hit. And do a point or so of damage onto that superiority dudesman. All right, we get the power up going. and go into the tank a little bit as sort of think about what to do with all of the units this turn, trying to see what is in range, what's possible thus far, and just trying to see and what's the sort of the best course of action. So moving the strike reavers over, they're going to go ahead and take a CRA of everybody into him. Hit or miss? No, hit. Hit, and then I realize I hit, and then damage. We just do a little bit of damage to him. Again, Khadorian Jacks, especially Great Bears, bit of a problem to get through. Very chunky. So then, seeing where I want the Berserker to go, he runs forward. And is able to get just within range of those guys on a charge. Thanks to the Bloodthirster head. All right, and just checking measurement there. Getting ready to attempt to do some damage into that unit with the Jackal there. Hit. Still enough to kill. Overtake. Hits. Kills. Kills. Totally free to do overtake on these moves, because I should be nestled right into them. And I didn't continue to walk forward, which would have been the correct thing to do with the overtake that is granted through the battle group. All right, and then I move forward my girl, and she is going to feet. Arcing through. Kill that one with Perdition. And then we move the Tyrant up into the woods. And then running the Axers over to the flank to sort of be cheeky and set up for future turns where we can come into the caster or attempt to force his battle group to have to engage that way if he wants to deal with them. And then I do a hard flank with the Rorks, getting them onto the hill to sort of make their presence known and be generally annoying. Then I think about their placement a bit more and decide to move them back because I hate that idea. And instead what we do is move the outflanking skirmishers, or ambushing skirmishers over to engage with the Great Bear that's there and to be on the hill. And then we'll move the Rorks into a secondary position so that they can basically deal with the Great Bear the next turn. is sort of the idea here. All right, and we're rolling some attacks. Onto the big guy. From the tyrant. I'm just shooting into him. And doing a pretty significant amount of damage to him all told. Trying to get him totally taken down. He does have crippling grasp on him, so that is helping a bit, but kind of rolling mid. So pretty average rolls into him, and still the superiority not proven to be a huge factor on him from a defensive standpoint. Again, just moving his defense up to 12. While not trivial, it's not much, especially when you're dealing with a quad cannon or quad bolt thrower, which really does a lot of work. So coming back over to the good old Khadorians. Khador's got a lot of things that they need to accomplish this turn. They need to get me off that hill. They need to take out the jackal that I have in front there. There's a possibility to try and do it with Baronova, get 3 points, which would sort of change the dynamics of this battle significantly. If he can take out Baronova, if Baronova can take out that jack with a melee attack, that would be huge in terms of point swing. So all things to consider within this turn. There is behind that house another Great Bear with shield and battle mace, and there's a little bit of a misplay that happens here. So what should have been done is the Great Bear probably should have come over, smacked the Jackal down to a minimal amount, and then Baronova should have come and basically stabbed it for the remaining amount and gotten the 3 points that way. That is not what happens, but in the retrospective of this game, that is exactly what should have occurred, but did not. So what does happen is Baronova attempts to go over, start stabbing it, and then does not do nearly enough damage. So moving up the grenade squad, and they're going to take some shots on a hill, and those shots are not going to go well. So trying to do some damage. Finally does a little bit, but not enough to crack one of the guys. So it sort of is what it is there. And again, going a little bit in the tank, trying to figure out how best to execute this particular turn, loading up loads up the Arcanist over there, load up the Great Bear, and the Great Bear attempts to go to town on the skirmishers and just lights the force up, um, just smacking everything in its path, getting a lot of doubles and getting the crit smites, um, hysterically pushing me off the hill, and then obliterating me because the armor on those guys are 14 and the battle mace is a 19 POW. So they roll the dice for the damage just for emphasis, but it's not needed. So, and then the assault cannons come over, and they get the 2 assault cannons within 5 of 2 of the cavalry, and then proceed to roll lights out on the assault cannons. They just they rolled 4 shots with each and just obliterated the poor cav. The only thing that saved the remaining one was it was over 5 inches away, and therefore stealth was enabled. And they did not have any other anti-stealth tech. But the assault cannon earned an amazing amount of respect to this game in terms of what it was able to do against my force, and really, really made me respect it. Now, there is, I believe it's either 1 or 2 guys, I think it's just one lone skirmisher is still alive, just standing there dancing. And he will get his revenge in this life or the next. Spoiler: it's this life, on the upcoming turn. So now continuing to go in the tank. I'm trying to figure out what is the best course for the rest of this turn. Being could not kill all the skirmishers, could not kill all the cav. So the Arcanists move up, and they're going to provide some good old focus to each of the jacks. The dozer was broken on the gun Great Bear, but that big battle cannon is still very much alive and ready to try to do something before this jack dies. So the light brigade charges in and roll amazing to hit, but then we're gonna absolutely flubs, well, a little bit of damage, not a ton though. Again, we're POW 9, no charging, not the best. Now we're doing some shots. We're trying to do some shots into it, and again, autocannons can only do so much. They do a little bit, but not enough to get him into a real danger zone. So then we're gonna shoot the battle cannon at him. It's gonna hit. Or it misses. We tried so hard. We got so far, but in the end, it really didn't matter. So now Baranova is going to come up and try to do Baranova things to the poor jackal. Try to get those points, and just going to pillow fist it as well as one can. Just absolutely just roll terrible, and just not just not. Well, I'm sorry. That's the battle cannon hitting. It hits and gets smacked out of the way. Does a not insignificant amount of damage. Because again, it's POW 16. And we follow up. And dozers are hitting. And removes the threat. So not the best order of operations there for what we were trying to do. Now the big guy is going to come in and charge. There's just enough space to land the top part of his base on the hill. So he then makes additional space and just rails into the poor unsuspecting assault reavers who just take it right in the face. Trying to provide the correct placement. And falling down, which is always good. And falling down again. But so many models are dying. And he gets to follow up. So definitely a solid vengeance moment for the Khadorians here. And then the Fire Nation attacked. This turn is absolutely brutal. This is turn 3, and this is all about maximizing points. So everything we do here is to maximize points. This is actually a 5-point turn for the Brew Crew, for the Orgoth, our mighty heroes, because I'm going to score 3 on the opposing hill. I'm going to score 1 on the main hill, and I'm going to score 1 for him having no models on my half of the table. So that gives me the 5. He's then going to try to do some cute stuff in the following turn, but will be unable to do so. So one of the War Witches jumps up onto the hill. That's going to be absolutely critical for the scoring, because remember, you need to have 2 warrior models in order to score the hill. And you need to have no opposing models on said hill. So currently there's 1 opposing model. It's a big dumb animal, and I contemplate here for a little bit bringing out Sabbreth to jump onto the hill and try to get another 3 points for killing the big dumb robot in melee. But I do think better of it. I had not feated yet this game. So now it's about maximizing our armor swing and trying to do as much damage as we can. Which of course we do nothing. These goggles, they do nothing. So that's good. That was fun. But at least we have the flag within 5 of both of his remaining jack threats. I've lost 1 jack this game. He's lost none. The battle cannon jack is pretty well hurt and should go down with minimal effort. Over in the Fire Nation, we go ahead and start with the skirmisher, who kills off a couple of WKI that are over there. And then I fly in with my remaining cavalry. I crit on that double 1 with the 5 to pitch him off the hill. So now I have 2 warrior models on the hill because I still have that skirmisher, and I have my 1 remaining cav, and I've just knocked the threat off of the hill. So we will score 3 at the top of my opponent's turn, because that is how scoring works in this particular item. We score at the top of his turn. So the start of a turn is when you do the scoring. And so I will secure that, and now it's a matter of getting the other guy off my property. So how we do that is we're gonna have a feat turn, and we're gonna try and do some cute stuff here. Yep. So there you go. Puppet Master goes on. We're going to nail the Crippling Grasp onto the big guy. We are going to load up Focus. Or we're going to redline the 1. And provide the other one with Indomitable Resolve. We roll, we hit. That's the Hex Blast. Yep. Hits. Does some damage. Yep. Hard to remember what I was doing here. I think we're working out exactly what we need to do. Yep. So then he moves up and gets ready to shoot the daylights out of the Great Bear. Or try to. So looking for something in my cards. Let's see if there's some play we have. So we break through the model. We break through him, and he's going to do some attacks on Baronova, or attempt to do some attacks on Baronova, to bring that little bit of threat over and in. I think we go after Baronova. It's either Baronova or the I believe it's Baronova. Promptly miss. I'm sorry, we hit and do 5 damage after that. We force another couple attacks. Those guys charge in. Hit. Does some damage. Not a ton, but a little bit. And does a bit more. And just totally wrecking movements. Oh, sorry, the move earlier was from Perdition. So goes up, spins up the gun, takes some shots. Does some damage. Continuing to do a bit more damage. Dice finally heating up a bit for me, which is good. And we remove the blaster. One, and then take some more shots into the big guy up top. Trying to 2-for-1. Trying so hard to 2-for-1 this go around. But I will not quite get it. It just doesn't quite work out for me. So game ends there with me. I scored 1 previously in the center, and then I scored the additional 4 at the top of his turn. He does a little bit of retaliation, and then the game ends with a victory, a 5-0 victory for the Forces of Good, also known as the Orgoth. So thank you for watching. Please, please, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 by the end of June. So appreciate all of you watching. And thank you again for being a fan of Tyrants on the Field. And go play some Mark IV. It's fun.